Hello, friends on the internet. My name is Dan. Thank you for joining me. I'm here in the very blue-green Sellersville Theater. We miss you. Thank you for joining us. It's so nice to see so many familiar faces joining us online here. Of course, this is Soundbooth Sessions, our live stream offering where we have a concert and a conversation featuring one of our favorite artists. And I'll tell you what, this has really been a fun project. We look forward to continue bringing it to you every Saturday right here at 9 o'clock. Got a nice lineup coming in, booking it as we go. So actually, pretty soon we're going to start featuring acts live on stage. Like we did a little experiment with that a few weeks ago with Max Swan, and it worked out pretty well. So we will start inviting some people, and then of course remain socially distanced from them. So solos, duos, maybe trios, even if they're local. Maybe we'll try to get them in. So tonight's show, you know why you're here. You're very excited. So am I. So for tonight's act, let's see. I could spend the whole show introducing him and just listing all the projects he's a part of because the list is long. Of course, you've seen him all over the world performing with many different groups, including the orchestra starring former members of ELO, Patti Smythe, Smash Palace. Where's my list? Because I'm going to forget them. Of course, Starbelly, In the Pocket, and of course his own things. Please click on the clap button and join me in welcoming from, I believe, his home in Phoenixville, Pennsylvania. Please give a warm welcome to Cliff Hillis.
Hello. I never was the type to step into a fight, but if I walked away, it'd be a crime. I guess it's plain to see, it's really up to me to call you on your bluff this time. It's superfluous, the love we used to trust. You're kissing me to sleep, counting your black sheep, just another long goodbye. You're planning your attack, you stab me in the back with a twinkle in your eye. So magnanimous as you throw me under the bus. Go. Go. Almost fathomless, the haze that fell over us. Now it's superfluous, the love we used to trust. I never was the type to step into a fight, but if I walked away, it'd be a crime. Woo! I'm gonna do a slight adjustment here. Like that.
The people are happy, Cliff. The people
Yeah.
are happy.
All
A
right.
lot of great comments. Jerry Gray, that's my dog. Cliff Hillis. Carol Lizelle clapping furiously. Maggie Pope, yes, sounding great. Jack Lightmeyer, superfluous with that exclamation point.
All right. I'm doing another right here.
And this is called Time and Evangelist. These are both from an EP called Many Happy Returns. It's time and evangelist had to figure out what his place in the world is all about. Praise the philosopher who questions all he sees, from the stars in the sky to the seven seas. But I'm waiting for the tide to turn. I'm hoping that someday we'll learn. Sad politician, don't know right from wrong, and every day he changes which side he's on. A poor musician sings a protest song. All he wants is the world to sing along. But if we made it through the bitter end and back again, would we realize the story never ends? Time and evangelist had to figure out what his place in the world is all about. I'm waiting for the tide to turn. I'm hoping that someday we'll learn. All right.
Yes, Time and Evangelist by the wonderful Cliff Hillis. Folks, before I talk to Cliff and just even say hello to him, I want to make sure that you see on the screen we have Cliff's social media sites all on there, as well as links or the addresses of his online tip jar. There are links in the description to please click on them and donate what you can, and please be as generous as possible. That would be great. Cliff, hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. I had to wet the whistle there.
What are you drinking there? Show me what.
Actually,
show me what
so
you got.
a friend of mine just hooked me up with this is a Stone Scorpion Bowl IPA. It's like the tiki-themed multi-pack that Stone has. I'm a big fan of the IPAs.
How aggressive of an IPA is that?
It's got a good bite, as a Scorpion Bowl probably would. But it's I think it's like 7%. So I'm gonna drink this slowly. I don't want to lose my edge here, but it's quite nice though.
Excellent. Hey, Cliff.
Full-bodied.
I got to tell you, I love your songwriting so much.
Thank you so much.
It's been such a, obviously I've seen you here on our stage. I didn't mention, actually, you've seen Cliff on our stage with like a ton of great people, including Rhett Miller and Peter Noon, right? You played with
with Smash Palace,
with
yeah.
Smash Palace. Yeah, a ton of great stuff. And just, I love your sets all the time. And
Thank you.
when did you get started with songwriting? Like how old were you when you realized you had that superpower?
Well, I must say, it wasn't a superpower at first. I do appreciate you calling it that. I think I've told this story before somewhere that I think I was like 9 years old. My brother and I both got guitars, like Sears guitars. My brother's 3 years older, and then we started playing in bands together in our teens. Okay. But like when I was 9, we got some guitar lessons. I had no idea how to play, and I think I wrote a song, but it was literally just hitting the open strings, and it was terrible. At 15, I wrote like the first real song. I've been writing, things, and there was a song that our band recorded and put out. So that was the first real song. But at that point, I just started, trying to take it seriously.
Do you remember that song?
Which one? The very first one?
The 15-year-old song. We'll
15
give you a break.
that's
We'll
called-
give you a pass
it was-
on that very first one.
Thank you,
but-
thank you. It was called "Give Me Time," and we went and recorded it at a studio at Target Studios in Newark, Delaware, and we had cassettes. And my folks, my parents are passed away, but they were really proud. They loved that song. That was the first song we ever wrote. But my dad was always like, "Man, you got it. That song. You got to play that song more."
Well, I mean, can you play a little bit of it? Would you mind just hum a few bars?
Sure. The funny thing is, I wasn't singing really yet. So this friend of ours, Kip Bogdan, sang on the first demo, and then we had our band called The Name, and Laura Ludwig, who's Laura Moss now, she became Miss Delaware, but she was our singer, so she sang on the proper recording. But
First time I saw you, I was deep in asleep. First impression sank so deep.
it's really, really basic lyrics, but
Look in your eyes seems so real. The way that you smile, show the way you feel. Won't you give me a little time? That's about as much as I can remember.
that's the gist of it.
Good stuff, man. I love it. And so now, so then, how did you learn how to harness that power and evolve it and control it and?
Well, so my brother and I, for the first many years, had bands playing around Delaware. That's where I grew up, and we always kind of had some of our own songs that we were doing, but it was a very big cover scene. So we learned a bunch of covers just to play bar gigs, early on. So that helped a lot, just learning other people's songs, because I kind of reversed engineered and tried not to, rip them off, but it was very inspiring. So, and loved, the Beatles and the Kinks and
The
bands like
Beatles?
REM
Oh,
and
I've heard of
stuff.
them. Yeah.
But yep.
Oh, that's really cool. And has your, let's see, has your process now, are you able to sort of well, where does the song start for you nowadays? How do you do lyrics first, guitar first? Where?
With me, usually it's a melody. I hear a little melody thing in my, I'll be singing a song in my head. I'm like, oh no, it's not. I don't know that song. It's not actually something I've heard before. So I'll run to a guitar and just put it down on my little voice recorder thing. So it's usually a melody and maybe a few lyrics, and then I kind of build it around there. Every once in a while, all the words come out, but those first two songs actually are from something that's been a great tool for me in the last several years, has been being part of this songwriting group. That's there's a bunch of different ones, but a guy from Austin, Texas, a friend of mine was in it, and it's a handful of songwriters that are on an email chain, and the one songwriter each week sends out a lyric to everybody on a Monday, and by Sunday night you have to hand in a song with that lyric in it.
That's not Bob Schneider, is it? Is that the Bob Schneider?
It's actually, so the deal is, it's run by this guy Andrew Trube now, and Jason Spiewak, a New York guy. It kind of grew out of, and it was called Song Machine, which I called my one EP Song Machine. Every week you'd get an email that said Song Machine, and it was from the ashes of the Bob Schneider one.
Oh, how about that?
Because these guys were in his group.
Sure.
And a friend of mine was in it, and I was like, how can I get in there? And he was like, I'll just, could suggest. And these days it's a scattered group of folks, and it ever changing, because you get kicked out if you miss a week, if you don't hand it in by Sunday at midnight. And they've relaxed the rules, like you get kicked out, but you can come back in.
Oh, that's funny.
But I made it through a whole year, and so those first two
Wow.
songs that I played were actually evolved from those things. So that's been a great, I used to kind of wait for inspiration, and now that forced me to kind of open up the floodgates there.
So I've heard Bob Schneider, but also Jason Mraz was a part of that.
He was in it, yeah.
Originally.
Not one, yeah.
That's so cool, man. Well, very nice. Okay, so what other songs have sprung forth from that creative swamp?
A bunch of the ones later on. I'll be playing the song "Love Not War" and actually the song "The Buddha's Belly." Both of them, was.
Oh, how cool is that?
I just, it might have changed from the original thing, but I had to hand something in, and then I realized after I handed it in, I was like, I think this is something I could turn into, a full-fledged song.
That's fantastic. Well, I'll tell you what, would you mind hitting us with another tune? What are you going to play
Absolutely.
for us now?
Would not mind. How about this is Sing It Once Again
All right.
from my Dream Good album.
Let's do it.
I'm not what you call unhappy, but I will never be fulfilled. I have tried to understand this, though I probably never will. I see you pulling in the driveway. I see you walking through the hall. I can't tell exactly where it came from, but I swear I heard a voice that called. And it's the same old song, and we sing along. And if it comes out wrong, sing it once again. People searching in the darkness, sliding hands against the wall, fumbling to find the light switch, although it's never there at all. I see you laughing in the corner. I see you watching from above. I can't tell exactly where it came from, but I swear I heard the word love. It's the same old song, and we sing along. But if it comes out wrong, sing it once again. Sing it once again. Sing it once again, and again, and again. It's the same old song, and we sing along. But if it comes out wrong, sing it once again. Sing it once again. Sing it once again. Sing it once again. Woo. All right. So I'll go from that into a Starbelly song, Lay Low. From you can see that vinyl behind me. It's from an album called Four, that band that I'm thrilled to be part of from Baltimore, called Starbelly. I'm gonna lay low for a month or so, kick the habit. I'm spiriting myself away. Time to let go, till I figure out I can do without the choices leading me astray. Lay low, get right, move on with your life. Not gonna look back on the dumb mistakes that I left behind me. Time to move it all ahead. I've made up my mind, gonna spend my time doing things the right way. Did you hear a word I
The dulcet tones of Cliff Hillis, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I see some new names popping into the stream here now. Sandra says, great song, one of my favorites. Jerry Gray is loving this. He's commenting a lot.
Jerry's all over it.
My mom says the guitar sounds mellow and rich. So tell us about that guitar real quick. What are you playing?
Oh, so yeah, this is So speaking of the band Starbelly, Brian Ewald, the guitar player, turned me on to the fact I was trying to find a nice recording guitar. Actually, so this is a funny little bit. I have my studio, this room in the house, and I cut drums down in our basement. But it's for my own projects, and I do various different people. And it's kind of word of mouth thing, and these days, who knows? I'm just getting I'm here because people don't really come over. But I was really lucky to record the last Tommy Conwell album, which he hadn't recorded an album in years.
Oh, wow.
We did some demos long ago, and I've gotten to know him through this Hole in the Pocket thing I play with Dave Ossickinen, that Dave Ossikkinen's thing. But so it was really cool because I've always loved Tommy, and he started coming over here because we did some demos, and he decided he wanted to just make the record here. And I've got a lot of amps, and I have some cool electric guitars, but I didn't really have a nice, a really great sounding recording. I have some wonky guitars. So he's like, dude, you should get one really good recording guitar. And I'm like, you're so right. So I was looking for a Gibson J45. Couldn't really afford one. But Brian Ewald clued me into the fact that this is the Epiphone Texan, and it's sort of very similar, and it has its own really cool vibe. And they're way more. You can get them. It's still way expensive, but. Then I found out that the Epiphone Texan is the guitar that Paul McCartney played on Yesterday. Oh. His was a 64 Texan. This is a 1968. And I love this thing. It's been beat to hell, but I got it fixed up, and so I've had it for a couple of years. So anyhow, thanks Tommy Conwell for inspiring me to get the guitar.
Sounds gorgeous.
Thank you so much.
What else do you have on the back wall there? I see some other nice looking guitars.
Yeah, so
give us a rig rundown.
Okay, I'm seeing there's a funny it's not a no-name guitar. I think it's like the funny little. It's called Fred, but it's actually like a Sears guitar. I forget which model it is. And then I have
is that a Les Paul I see back there?
There's no Les Paul. It's a Gretsch, and then I have this Hofner kit bass that a guy put together for me, and then a Fender P bass. And then actually an Epiphone Riviera, which is sort of my full-time playing guitar that I've played a million years. It's sort of like a poor man's Gibson 335. And there's other ones floating around, but none of them are really super expensive. But try to have one for every occasion.
Oh, gorgeous! I've heard. Do you realize this? I've heard some songwriters say that there's a different song in every guitar, which is why you need like 1,000.
I'd say so. Yeah. Because I got this baritone guitar from Tom Hampton. When he moved to Nashville,
I know that guy.
Stuff. And, yeah, Tom Hampton, man about town. And
I'm trying to get him to come on here. I'm trying to get him to come on this show.
Yeah.
So you've been called out, Tom Hampton.
Yeah, do it. And he sold us Dan Electro baritone guitar, and they're tuned low. And I've never owned one, but I've always liked it. And I've written more songs on that. Because it's just a whole nother world, it's just a whole nother, it's great. And I've written a lot of moodier songs. I have this whole project, The Inside Passenger, that the baritone guitar inspired like most of those songs.
Oh yeah, that's some gorgeous stuff too. Those songs. So now when you're working on your solo material, because clearly you can play everything. You've got a bass back there. You mentioned a drum kit in the basement. Are you often playing on your own? Are you, as you're recording, like, are you doing it all the arrangements on your own, or are you outsourcing the?
Well, I sometimes I do a lot on my own. Mostly guitar and bass, and I kind of plunk around a key. I can make it. I can create a keyboard part after a certain amount of time, especially with editing.
Mm-hmm. Right.
My friend Greg Marigus, who's been in the Forward Thinkers, my live band, amazing musician, amazing dude, and so he and I have played together for literally kind of since I put my first solo record out. And he's been in a bunch of bands. He's in Smash Palace now with me. We are together, but he's sort of like the not so secret weapon. Like I will do like some basic tracks, have a song, and I usually try to. I have different drummer friends who are like the most amazing drummers in Philly, like Pat Berkery, Fred Berman, Dave Osikin has played on some stuff, and so many different friends so I've been lucky with that. So I get a good drum track, I start playing stuff, I'll send it to Greg, he puts all these tracks on, sends it back to me, and so it works out pretty well.
Well, thankfully, we have the internet during this quarantine, so you can still continue to be productive, right?
Yeah, and that's the new way for an unforeseen amount of time.
Oh, for sure. And I mean, so how has your workflow been disrupted these last few weeks? Like, or are you doing a lot of things in the box these days? Are all your collaborations
more and more? Luckily,
I've
already. I mean, I've had a fair amount of ongoing, and I would do like mixing and mastering for people. They'll send me tracks, and I just send them back, and we never actually are in the same room. But now, luckily, that it's it's becoming more and more available to do that. I'm figuring out ways to get songs done, virtually like that.
Well, and I know you also are quite tech savvy. I know you handle a lot of your own engineering on your own. Is that fair to say?
And I try to. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a super techie guy, but I try to, I figure it out as I go.
Right.
I'm getting good, get good at editing on Pro Tools.
Well, so with all the different roles you can play in a session, from the songwriter to singer, guitar player, bass player, drummer, engineer, producer, do you have a favorite role? Like, having done them all, is there one that you brings out a side of you that you like to?
I mean, I love kind of producing, although not my own stuff, because it kind of is messes with your head when you're trying to, the voices in your head like, you suck, But when I hear somebody else's music, I always hear ideas and parts. So I like being able to produce other people, and I end up playing bass on a lot of people's. I'll be recording with somebody, and then they'll have a drummer, but it's it's like I can play bass, and so I love playing bass in that situation.
Me too. I love playing bass.
Yeah.
And I know Dawn Slade does too. Is Dawn Slade in the comment section? I haven't seen her yet, but I did see Bill Slade. Oh, was there? Did you do? Yeah. Were we going to talk about Starbelly?
Yeah. Okay.
What do you have going on with? I know that it's been a little while since Starbelly released a record, and that 4 is so cool. Like, what do you have going on with that?
Yeah.
Group?
So yeah, with the social distancing thing, I've got this tune that I'm gonna be putting out soon. That I've gotten different Greg and other guys cutting tracks, and Starbelly has a song that was kind of floating around the ether for a long time, and then just before all the quarantine, Greg the drummer came up here and cut some drums. So then I've been putting it together. But there's a new Starbelly track called Love Song 26.
Oh, that's right. You promised to debut it.
Yes, that's right. So yeah, I would love to if you could play a little snippet. And we were lucky enough to get Roger Manning from the band Jellyfish, who we're all massive fans of.
Oh, yes.
Starbelly might not be a band if Jellyfish didn't happen. So he played. We got him to play. He was going to play just a piano or whatever. He ended up playing like all these piano, mellotron.
Man.
Sang a bunch of background vocals. So it's really cool. He's the kind of big special guest, and we're going to be releasing that really soon. We're trying to make a game plan.
Okay, so this is a new Starbelly track, world premiere. Can we say that? Is this a world premiere?
It is. It's yes.
Unbelievable. It's a Soundbooth Sessions exclusive. How much of this do you want me to play?
Let's go through the bridge.
Okay, all right. So
or the whole thing.
All right, here we go. And we're going to listen to. You can talk over it if you have a fun story while it's happening. You can get close reaction to it. So here we go. New song from Starbelly. There's that mellotron. Right
there it is.
Sounds so good.
That's Dennis Shockett singing his song. He wrote the song.
Anybody else would lie, but I would not be such a fool to let you go tonight.
What are you playing on this?
Just guitar, and I sing some stuff throughout the song. And Brian Ewald's playing. There's Killer Slide. He's like my favorite slide player. Aside from Steve Butler. To let you go tonight. So I'll get in line. There's Roger Manning sing along?
Look at those jellyfish vocals.
I'll try to find a simple way to sometimes hard to tell. Everybody says goodbye, and I would not be
Just a little Beatlesy.
to let you go tonight.
Free as a bird. Floating
Yes.
around there.
And I would not be such a fool to let you go
Actually, this
tonight.
is the whole thing. It's cool. There's a little breakdown thing.
Joey Gray says, this is awesome. Phil Voga says, this is such a treat.
This whole outro thing we kind of put together because that's where the song ended. And so Brian had this loop that's going on now. And I'll tell you in a minute that it's a sample. It's my mom talking. There's a bit of an extended outro, so I guess we could
Fade her
probably
out.
just- Yeah. Gotta leave to people wanting
man.
more.
What a cool tune.
Thank you so much.
And
Yeah.
great production on it. You say you did those drums in your basement?
Yeah. I was really psyched.
Really
I had
nice.
just
Drum
gotten this. I got a new stereo ribbon mic, a Cascade, not a super fancy one, but
Is that a fathead?
I got a. No, it's a the Vinjet.
Okay.
Or wait, darn, sorry, no, because anyway.
That's all right.
Yeah, it's a number. I think of the number. But I got it modded by this. There's an old guy, Clarence. He's like 90 years old. He does ribbon mics in New Jersey, and he fixed it up, and that's the room mic. And suddenly that changed my drum sound.
Gorgeous.
Anyway, yeah.
You
so
were gonna
that
tell
was
me about.
Star
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Starbelly with Roger Manning from Jellyfish, and keep an eye out. If you find and follow Starbelly on Facebook, it's Starbelly from Baltimore. Anyway.
Beautiful tune. And when will that record be done? When do you think?
We're looking that song is going to come out as a single soon, probably in the next month,
Very cool.
and then from a forthcoming, that we're working on another an actual album.
You said there was something you were gonna tell us about your mom and the sample.
Oh, there's a little because I was trying to find something in the middle, and I was listening to the Dennis's lyrics, and there's a little thing that goes out and over, Roger, and it's actually I have a cassette from my mom was from Holland. She came over when she was, 20 or something, and met my dad. And then, so she was visiting, when I was a kid, she was visiting her family in Holland, and they did a little cassette letter like, hello, this is Joyce and my Uncle Dick and my grandmother, saying hi to us, and they mailed it to us. And at the very end of the thing, I still had it in the basement. And so being like with the Dutch, she was like, instead of saying over and out, she's like, out and over, Roger. And I've always thought about that. So I found it, and then I put the little sample in there of like, that's her talking in the middle of something.
Oh, how cute. I love it. That's very nice.
So there's that. New Starbelly, Love Song 26, coming out in the next month.
Can't wait. We'll be looking for it. And then you also mentioned a sort of a quarantine collaboration, a new song that you're going to play now. This is another new tune for us.
Yes. Yep. Just before the lockdown, my friend Kevin Killen, who I'm sure you know, he's a man around Philly, plays in so many bands and plays everything great. He came over just to kind of hang out, and he ended up, I had just finished writing the song, and this was from that weekly songwriting group. and I just he I had the drum set up downstairs, and he played some drums, and he played some really cool guitar on it. And so when the lockdown happened, it gave me time to put a bunch of parts, sing my proper vocals, send it over to my friend Greg Marigus, and he played all this magical stuff and sent me back tracks. So that's just done. So that's coming out as a single too, like as soon as I can get it out in the next couple weeks or
And
so.
this is a Cliff Hillis solo song.
That's right.
This one?
From a forthcoming.
And just so we
EP.
can know as we're listening to it, what was the prompt in the songwriter group that inspired this?
What was it? So funny, because after a while, after I've written a song, it evolves. I kind of forget what it was. So dabba 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 to hold you, keep you safe from. Wow, what? You know what? I'll sing it, and then I'll remember it by the time.
All good.
It's so funny. I'll. I might be stumped.
Okay.
Well, I'll play it, and then we'll see.
All right, new song,
happens.
another world premiere. We're just racking them up tonight. This is Seven Sisters.
Seven Sisters.
Seven Sisters.
I have played this.
Wait, this is not an exclusive?
I have played it on one of my Sunday brunch shows once or twice. So, but first time, sort of in the Sellersville Theater.
It's a county exclusive.
Sleeping like the seven sisters, hold you in their arms. Listen as their gentle whispers keeps you safe from harm. Dream the dreams of all the ages till you get it right. See the words fall off the pages in the dead of night. I will fix my gaze up to the stars. Knowing it will never be that far from me to where you are. So enjoy the bread you're breaking. Loved ones gather round. Even when your heart is aching, they won't let you down. I will fix my gaze up to the stars. Knowing it will never be that far from me to where you. Sleeping like the seven sisters, hold you in their arms. Listen as their gentle whispers keep you safe from harm. I will lift my gaze up to the stars, knowing it will never be that far from me to where you are. From me to where you.
Whew.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Seven Sisters. Was that just plain old drop D you're playing in there?
Yeah. Yeah, with I'm still getting comfortable with it. I wrote it. I was kind of making up, some chords or whatever, and it takes me a second to find them again. They're not that crazy, but
We like hearing about all the wacky tunings people play in.
oh yeah. Well, and I started writing songs in other tunings, but then I would have a recording of it, a demo, and I couldn't figure out for the life of me what the tuning was.
You have to reverse
Sometimes.
engineer. How did I do that? Right.
Yeah.
That's so funny. All right, go ahead. Give us another one.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, I'll play Let's Pretend. This is a song that I wrote with Rhett Miller.
Ooh, name drop.
Rhett Miller of the old 97s. I'll tell you about it after I play the song. It's called Let's Pretend. Let's pretend that it's midnight. Everything will be quite alright. The silence is deep, everybody's asleep. Let's pretend that it's midnight. Let's pretend that it's 2 a.m. Go all the way and come back again. There's a place and a time only we can find. Let's pretend that it's 2 a.m. Well, you know that I mean what I say, and I feel like you feel the same way. Let's pretend that it's New Year's Eve. The ball is dropping, baby, please don't leave. Pull me in for a kiss, nothing sweeter than this. Let's pretend that it's midnight. Woo! Well, you know that I mean what I say, and I feel like you feel the same way. So let's get out of here. Let's up and disappear. This lazy sunset's taking far too long. When the morning comes and the words I said and the deeds are done, we'll be right here where we belong. Let's play like the world won't end, live forever and just pretend. We can close the blinds, we can take our time. Let's pretend that it's midnight. Well, you know that I mean what I say, and I feel like you feel the same way. Let's pretend that it's midnight. Let's pretend that it's midnight.
Let's Pretend by Cliff Hillis and Rhett Miller of Old 97s. Folks, thank you for being here with us. Please make sure that you check out Cliff's website and socials. They're on the screen. Make your way over to his PayPal or his Venmo and be as generous as you can. Cliff, this is like the friendliest comment section on the internet right now. Everybody is very happy with what's going on.
I have some good friends then.
Lots of clapping. Stephanie Lynn is clapping. Mark Bruin is clapping. Fern Brodkin, hi Fern.
Hey, Fern.
Fern is clapping. Fern, I think, was looking through all the corners of the internet trying to find us this evening, but I'm happy she made it.
Yeah, and I tried to throw it out there as much. I probably confused some of my friends, and the people. I have some very kind friends that tune in because I've been doing every Sunday 12:30 from my personal page, Facebook/Cliff Hillis, and so I have a bunch of folks are tuning in now and I will do another one tomorrow 12:30 from my Facebook page, and I do appreciate you mentioning the PayPal Venmo tip thing because it's been really helpful for musicians, doing that.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, for my brunch thing that I'm going to do tomorrow, it's actually a benefit for the Ticked Off Music Festival, which a friend of mine, Greg Kirk, has a Ticked Off Foundation, helping out people with Lyme disease. And Yeah, and he was trying to put a festival, a fundraiser together, and that got all derailed because of the COVID. So
Wow.
tomorrow, any tips or donations are going to go to the TikTok Foundation.
When is that festival? Do you?
Well, so it was they were planning it, not happening. So tomorrow,
Oh,
12:30.
it's not happening. It's
on
not,
my Facebook. Yeah, my set is going to just be in honor of it, and then John Fay did one last week, and this is kind of people are just doing pop-up, tributes and trying to raise some money for that.
Excellent. Hold on. Let's clarify real quick. We've got Facebook/Cliff Hillis, Facebook/Cliff Hillis Music, and Facebook/Cliff Hillis 2. What's going on here, Cliff? There's a lot of Facebook accounts.
So the deal is, when I jumped on Facebook way back when, in the olden age,
Before it was cool, of course.
yeah. So I had a personal page, and I always blabbing about music as all us musicians do.
Yeah.
But and then just posting funny things, and of course now ranting about everything in the world. But so I had that, and I got a bunch of friends, and I would meet people and go do shows and travel, and so I'd friend somebody and vice versa. And that's just how you kind of networking. So I racked up a bunch of friends, but then I had this music page that I'd gotten going. But ironically, I was more on the personal page, and people weren't visiting my music page all that much. And I've been paying more attention to the music page, but then I filled up the 5,000 friend requests at some point, and then I was getting ready to do this tour with U.S. Rails 2 years ago now. It's crazy how time flies, because they just came back from their last one, which got cut short because of the COVID. Mm-hmm. And I was getting ready to go away with them, and I'm like, man. So I made a second Facebook page so I could friend more people, because I knew. And now it's great, because I literally, there's a bunch of folks from overseas that I stay in touch with. So
Okay, so that's Cliff
so
Hillis 1
I'm
and
just
Cliff
trying
Hillis 2.
to be everywhere, all over the Facebook.
Excellent. All right. Well, so we were going to talk about that collaboration with Rhett Miller, and I did get a question from I asked the audience for some questions, and Jack got back to me that he would like to hear. So when you set up a co-writing session with somebody, who initiates and how does that work, and what does a co-writing session look like? So when you say that you co-wrote that song with Rhett Miller, how is that the two of you in a room together working it out?
So that one, that's the way it kind of, always had been, was, in a room together. But now it can literally be, people can Skype,
Sure.
or, whatever, you send an email back and forth. But, in a perfect world, sitting in a room together is nothing like bouncing ideas. And, and it depends on how successful somebody is, or how just business-like they are. If you're in Nashville, people do it all day long, but you're booked out for like a month, and it's cool because it's just what you do. But years ago, I started really trying to, I would do shows with people that I really looked up to, and if I felt like it wasn't too weird, I would just be like, hey, I'd love to write a song with you, throw it out there, and see. And so it kind of, the first co-write I did was with Danny Wilde from the Rembrandts.
Oh,
I did a
cool.
show with them, and then did a show, and he really liked my stuff, and of course I love them. And I just said, threw it out there, and he's like, yeah, man, let me know. And he lived in California, and happened to be making a trip to California not long after. Mm-hmm. So I went over his place, hung out in his little studio, and it was great. We wrote 2 songs, and
Wow.
he was really happy with it, and and the idea, the goal is, hopefully somebody just has some success with it, so that you have 2 for the price of 1, chances, because both people could do their version, or you just you throw it out to the world. So
you do just kind of both own the song. It's not like you say, oh, I have this song that I'm writing for my record, and I want your help.
Yeah,
with it.
like if somebody's really huge and they have co-writers, and there could be like, no, you get a percentage, and there's the whole
I see.
percentage deal with like publishing. But generally, Scott Sachs, I've heard him say the thing, or I think many people, it's an old saying, but it's a word a third. He's like in Nashville, it's like
word
if
a third.
people are in the room, and you put something in, like the gentlemanly way to do it is, you just split it evenly. But it totally varies. Most of everything I've done, it's just like everybody's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. So just like, yeah, cool. We just half and half. And so with Rhett, I've done some shows with him, and I had asked him long ago about trying to write together, and he was like, yeah, well, see. I sent him a couple ideas, and I realized they weren't the strongest ideas, and he never really did anything with him, and now I get it because I didn't really send him the best idea. But the Let's Pretend song was my wife and I had been out in Phoenixville, and we got in, and it was just, friends had an art thing going, so it was respectable hours, and we got in, and we felt like it was late, and it was 9 o'clock, and we're like, man, and she was like, oh, let's pretend that it's midnight, and then she was like, hey, you got to write a song, that's a great song, and I looked it up, nobody really had it, so I started writing a song, and I was like, damn, this sounds like Rhett Miller to me, and I had kind of half, if not more, of the song. I was like, hey, Rhett, I emailed him. And I said, I've got this idea. Would you be able to check it out? And he was like, man, I like this. And I caught him when the old 97s were in a van on the way to a gig.
Oh, dude.
And he wrote me back in the van and wrote the second verse. I had one verse, and he wrote the second verse. I was like, this is awesome. So then we emailed back and forth, and like he sent me a phone demo. I sent him a phone demo the next day. I was like, we need a bridge. I wrote the bridge. So that was like totally virtual, but
fantastic.
Very much half and half.
So you wrote that bridge? I was going to ask because that bridge was so cool. That was a nice bridge.
Thank you, because we had the song, and he was like, it needs to be kind of real big, and it's gonna turn into a thing. So he definitely, I had a skeleton of lyrics for it, but musically, I think I had most of the bridge, musically, melody, and lyrics, but anything I did, he definitely brought lyrically up 3 notches, because he's a great lyricist.
Now, have you heard him? Does he perform it as well?
No, because it hadn't. Yeah, the old 97s actually have a new record they're working on, and he was actually said, maybe, this might be, something we want to do. He likes the song a lot, so right. I checked with him. Then it didn't make it on the old 97s, and he said, it might go on something someday. So he hasn't played it out live, but I checked, and I'm working on that for my next EP. So my version, and he was totally cool with, like, we could both have our own version. So who knows? He may do a version, but it will be on my next EP.
Excellent.
My version.
And so when is that next EP coming? Is that one that's in the works?
So the song 7 Sisters will be out soon. Mm-hmm. I have 3 more songs that are like in the process, and I'm just trying to figure out how to socially distanced record, a couple more properly. So I'm going to use the downtime that I have to get it in high gear. So hopefully in the next couple months, I'll get it all done.
Excellent.
That's my goal.
We will be waiting with bated breath.
Thank you.
All right, Cliff, give the people what they want. Can we have some more tunes, please?
Yeah, absolutely. You know what? I'm going to jump to, I'm going to go do Love Not War, I think, if that's cool.
Great one.
Yeah.
Love that tune. Off of Love Not War on your screen right. Now. There you go. Check it out.
You're so professional.
Oh, man.
I'll send this out to my friend Jack Lightmeyer. He likes it a lot.
A lot of love for Jack tonight.
Although we are enemies, we make a perfect pair. You with your suit of armor, me with my fist in the air. Gathering up our armies, making our battle plans, waiting for that signal. 2 if by sea and 1 if by land. But hold on, let's put up a flag's truce, because we both know that it's no use when you've forgotten what you're fighting for. It's time to make love, not war. Once we walked hand in hand, the years pulled us apart. We drew a line into the sand and tightened up our hearts. You know as well as I do, there's just no way to live. So can we put our weapons down? 'Cause everything that you get is the same that you give. So hold on, let's put up a flag's truce, because we both know that it's no use when you've forgotten fighting for. It's time to make love, not war. When you've forgotten what you're fighting for, it's time to make love, not war. Let's put up a flag's truce, because we both know that it's no use. When you've forgotten what you're fighting for, it's time to make love, not war. When you've forgotten what you're fighting for, it's time to make love, not war. Time to make love, not war.
We need that song right now, Cliff.
Oh, thanks. Yeah.
Thank
It's
you.
just complicated times we live in.
Ain't that the truth? Well, listen, let's do another quick chat session, and then we'll get back to some more music.
Sounds great.
Cliff, this is a segment of the show. It is now officially recurring. This will be the second time we've done it. I call this segment "It's Time for Something." No, how does it go? Tell me something, food. Because you see, there's one thing I've found that musicians like as much, or maybe a little bit more than music, and that's food. So
My wife can attest to that.
so the first question, Cliff, do you prefer to eat or to cook, or bake? I guess you could throw that in there.
I mean, I'd say I love to eat very much, as my wife will attest. But I've gotten better at cooking, especially in the lockdown. So I kind of like both. Although, the cooking is just a way to get to the eating. So
That's what Jamie McClain said, by the way. The same exact thing. Okay, so what is it that you're cooking? What's your new recipe that you learned in this quarantine, or your new skill that you're developing?
well, I'll tell you what. This is a good one. So my wife, Beth Lennon, Maud Betty, as people know her from Retro Roadmap, she loves poached eggs. And I've always just, I'll just scramble it, I make whatever. And so we've learned how to properly poach an egg.
Excellent.
Didn't know that before the quarantine.
Little vinegar and
A little vinegar, a little salt, a little spin.
swirl the water.
But if you do it right, and if you want to do multiple ones, like in a saucepan, a big pan, you don't even need to spin. And if you do it just right, you put it in a little cup first, and then pour that. Because I was cracking them in, but then you put them in a little whatever you call that thing.
ramekin.
Yes, thank you. That's it. Put in a little ramekin. Whoop, very carefully with then. Yeah. That's
Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay. So what is your go-to recipe, Cliff, if you're trying to impress someone? Perhaps Maud Betty. Nice romantic evening at home.
Let's see. I like grilling, so grilled shrimp skewers. Try to grilled yet refined. Somewhat depending on what you got going.
Is that a recipe? Do you do a marinade, or how do you?
I make it up as I go, pretty much. But
Okay.
yeah, marinated stuff. But
Beautiful.
and I make a pretty kick-ass deviled egg. Speaking of eggs, I will say.
Excellent. Any secret ingredients in there that you care to share, or?
I'll tell you what. Just mostly the usual. And I don't know if people put Worcestershire in there, but I do a little of that sometimes. But I'm a huge fan. As the guys from, I'm in Phoenixville. I think it's Royersford. Lucifer powder. It's this kind of habanero powder.
Yes.
Freaking love it. And so like little Lucifer powder on the deviled eggs. That's solid right there.
Nice one. Very good. Okay. So now, a lot of bands will attach a hospitality rider along with their contract, telling the venue what they'd like to see in the green room. So what is your hospitality rider item that absolutely must be in the green room in order for you to put on a good show?
Well, I would love to, be able to say that, that no brown M&Ms or something like that.
I was gonna say you seem very high maintenance, by the way. So
yeah. Oh, that's what they call me.
yeah.
Well, anything is always good because I'm
Anything.
just playing gigs that you don't have anything on the rider. But a nice IPA. That's always just it's good for calming the nerves.
Good one. And then what's like your wish list, where if you see it in there, it's.
I can tell this random story. With John Fay, with John Fay Power Trip, we opened for Bon Jovi long ago at Boardwalk Hall, Atlantic City. It was a WMMR contest, and we won. And they treat us really well. We got to meet him and the band, and we went, and their catering, their backstage catering.
Sure.
They had John and I, we talk about this to this day, the most amazing crab cakes, and they were like the size of softballs. And so a kick-ass crab cake, I would gladly accept that any day backstage.
Can you eat before a show, or do
I do. I shouldn't, but I do.
And do you drink before
I don't
a show?
really.
Do you have a gig drink?
Honestly, it's so funny. Like, casual gigs, have a drink or two. The more like like with the orchestra or playing with Patty, doing things like that. Really, it's like just have a couple drinks after the show.
Yeah, sure, of course.
But maybe like one beer.
All right. Well, thank you, Cliff, for playing Tell Me Something Food. And now, back to the music. What's next? What do you got for us?
So I got two more I'll do.
Okay.
That's cool.
Of course.
Gonna do a little song that I love to sing with In the Pocket. Dave Alsikkinen's In the Pocket. And we recorded a version of this. I'm very honored that he had me sing this in the studio.
Cool.
This is from Upper Darby's finest, Mr. Todd Rundgren.
Yes.
This is I Saw the Light. Send it out to all the In the Pocketeers who may be tuning. It was late last night. I was feeling something wasn't right. There was not another soul in sight. Only you. So we walked along, and I knew that there was something wrong. 'Cause the feeling hit me oh so strong about you. Then you gazed up at me, and the answer was plain to see. 'Cause I saw the light in your eyes, in your eyes. Though we had our fling, I just never would suspect a thing. Till that little bell began to ring in my head, but I tried to run, though I knew it wouldn't help me none. 'Cause I couldn't ever love no one. So I said, but my feelings for you were something I never knew. Till I saw the light in your eyes, in your eyes. It's not something that I say in jest, 'cause you're different, girl, from all the rest. In my eyes, and I ran up before, but I won't do it anymore. Can't you see the light in my eyes, in my eyes?
Excellent. Thank you so much, Cliff. Cliff, I want to thank you so much for being here. I know we're kind of coming up on the end here. You got one more song. Before you go, I would be remiss if I did not ask you to please tell us about meeting Paul McCartney. How,
yes.
How did it happen? I have a picture here of you and Sir Paul and I believe John McEnroe is also in there. See if you can spot John McEnroe. All right, Cliff,
So-
how did you meet Sir Paul?
Okay, well, I'm going to do the abbreviated version because, I can get long-winded and then I fall off the branch and I forget what I even started talking about. But I've been known to do that. So I play with Patty Smythe, do live shows with her. I've been doing it for a number of years, been working with her, and it's always, she's a rock and roll animal, so it's a huge fun. But then also, like, get to go to some cool places and meet some people and things. And she is married to John McEnroe. So a couple years in a row, went to the Stephen Talk House is a little club in the Hamptons, and they had a place there, and so that's the one little club is where people play, and who knows on any given night what people are sitting there. The first we did it 2 or 3 consecutive summers. The band would go out and play at this club. The first summer I remember, like, I could see in the back and Howard Stern was hanging out.
Oh, wow.
And I didn't talk to him or anything, but then and there was who knows that was there. But the last time we played, so Patty gets invited from friends. They're like, hey, I'm gonna have an after party. And it's the big thing they do. Like everybody around their friends will have, come to my house, and then we're gonna have some food and stuff and have a party. And so, so there was a private party that we were going to, and we weren't sure how many people were gonna be there, and we showed up, and as it turns out, it was really just the band and. Now I'm actually blanking on the name of the host from Saturday Night Live.
The host of Saturday Night Live? Oh, Lorne Michaels.
Lorne Michaels, thank you. It was
The
Lorne.
Producer.
Lorne. My buddy Lorne,
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was Lorne Michaels and his wife. And because they're friends with Patty and John. And it was super nice. And that in itself was crazy. It was like, we're hanging out. And, it was all super just laid back. But then, as the story goes, we're sitting there just having a good time. And there really weren't a lot of other people. We thought it was going to be a party. It was just maybe 5 or 6 people. And basically, it dwindled. So the band, Lorne Michaels and his wife, and we're sitting there. And then basically, I'm sitting in a chair, and there's a little table, and then Lorne Michaels is sitting in the other chair, and I see his phone ringing, and it says Paul McCartney. And I thought it was a joke, actually, because, in my mind. I was like, and he wasn't seeing it. And I was like, Lord, your
gonna
phone's
answer
ringing.
that?
It says Paul McCartney. And he's like, oh, hold on. And he got it. And he said, oh, yeah, come on over.
Hello.
And hello, it says Paul, Lorne. So apparently Paul and his wife, they were actually going to try to make the show that we'd played. They couldn't make it. So they came over to the house and very graciously came through and, Patty and John had met him before, but we all got to meet him and say hi and chat for just a moment. And I felt compelled to, so Beth, my wife, Beth Lennon, whose dad's name was John Lennon. So I was like, hey, this is my wife, Beth. Her dad's name was John Lennon, or Beth Lennon. And he's like, oh, you must be out of her. She totally just played it off. But couldn't have been nicer, couldn't have been mellower. And we just hung out it was like a magical hour that they were there. And then when we all just kind of took off, but we got a photo. We almost didn't get the photo because nobody would have believed that it ever happened if they didn't have the photo.
So what was your opening line to him? Like, so you said hello, and then like you must have been rehearsing it in your head as you were walking up to him.
Didn't really have a chance to think too hard about it. I was just like, hey, big fan.
Right.
After the fact, I wanted to mention that, like, I recorded a cover of his song, this one for a McCartney tribute that came out, and this, that, and the other. But, it all just happened the way it needed to. And he couldn't have been nicer, and more mellow. So it was a very special night.
Fantastic. Excellent story. Cliff, this has been a real blast. I am so pleased to have you here.
Thank you for inviting me.
Oh man, it's so cool because there are a whole bunch of people in the comments section watching, enjoying the show, but for me, it's just a personal concert of you and me.
We're just hanging out here,
This has been a real treat. We've never gotten to chat this long, so it's so nice to talk
this
to you.
has been great.
I do want to just shout out a few people in the comment section. I think the award for most comments goes to Jerry Gray. Jerry's commenting
known to do that.
the whole time. The best comment I think goes to Fern, who said very wisely. It's always time to make love, not war. Agreed.
You know it.
You know it. I think the most valuable player goes to Jack Lightmeyer, who got a few shout-outs and also contributed a few questions. And that's it. Those are the only superlatives I'm giving out tonight. So, all right. So, Cliff, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Everybody, please make sure to visit Cliff on the web through his various websites below. If you haven't already, please head over and make a donation, or go ahead and make another one.
Thank you. And if I can mention, like if anybody's floating around 12:30 tomorrow, swing by my personal Facebook page, and I'll be doing my musical brunch with Cliff. And any of those tips or donations that might happen are all going to go to the Ticked Off Music Festivals.
Will there be poached eggs at the musical brunch?
We're talking about making blueberry pancakes because we got some blueberries that are getting a little old. So there may be a poached egg or two. Now maybe I'll do one in your honor.
Please do. I love eggs. I'm an eggs every day kind of guy.
Yeah.
All right, Cliff, take us out of here, will you? Thank you so much.
All right.
This has been a real
Daniel.
treat.
For me too. So I'm going to end with this song and send this out in the memory of my good friend Adrian Hickman. This is The Buddha's Belly. Song inspired by something my wife said one time when we were on vacation. And it's the first line of the song, and it deserved to have a song written around it.
Everybody wants to rub the Buddha's belly. Nobody's scratching the Buddha's back. That's what she said. And I said, you push it all your luck. You can never get enough. So come on now, give that boy some slack. Everybody wants to live the good life. Nobody's sweeping up the mess. You hurt the ones in love, then you blame the Lord above. You're putting the big man's patience to the test. Oh, shake, shake, shake. Things you do are so obscene. Bake, bake, bake. You're pouring on the gasoline, yeah. Oh. Everybody wants to rub the Buddha's belly, but nobody's scratching the Buddha's back. The way you live ain't right. You're a car crash at first sight. You're taking, now it's time to give it back. Oh, take. One day you will pay it back. Ache, giving me a heart attack. Ba-ba-da-ba-ba-da. Ba-ba-da-ba-ba-da. Woo. Everybody wants to rub the Buddha's belly. Nobody's scratching the Buddha's back. You're pushing all your luck. You can never get enough. You know it's time you're faced up to the facts. Taking, now it's time to give it back. Oh, come on now and give that boy some slack.
Woo!
Thank you so much, Cliff, and thank you so much, folks. That song was off Love Not War. Go check it out. Friends, thank you very much for being here for this evening's version of Soundbooth Sessions. I had a blast. I know you did. We'll be back. Cliff did too. Oh, Cliff, while we still have you, did you remember what the prompt was for?
I've been trying to do that. As soon as we get off, I'll leave a comment
And we'll
because
link
I got to
to it.
look it up. I may have actually morphed out the song from the original lyric. I can't remember, but
That's all right.
I'll find it.
We still got a good one, but all right. Thank you, Thank you, Cliff. And
Thank
you,
you so
friends.
much.
We'll be back here next week and all the Saturdays for the foreseeable future. Next week, I am 90% sure our guest will be Mikey Jr., so that'll be a ton of fun. So come on back and see us there. If you are looking for the Soundbooth Sessions, they are going to they will live in an archive on YouTube. So after you've done watching it here live, head on over to YouTube and you can watch it again as many times as you like. Of course, if you want to support the Sellersville Theater and Washington House Restaurant, please continue to click like and share and comment and heart emoji all of our videos and all of our content. That's a big help to us. You can also head on over to st94.com and washingtonhouse.net to see what's going on at the two businesses, the Sellersville Theater and the Washington House Restaurant next door. We've been doing cuisine to go. We've also been doing virtual wine tasting dinners. We're just going to start virtual beer tasting dinners. That's going to be a lot of fun. And great news, this week, at the end of this week, the patio is going to be open for business, responsibly spread out so everyone remains socially distanced. So a lot of good stuff happening up here in Sellersville. We hope to see you in person. This has been great. Thank you so much. And of course, continue to support the artists in our area by watching their live streams and donating and being as generous as you can be with your money and with your clicks and shares. Thank you all very much, folks. This has been a blast. See you next week.